English version of the World Championship match between Carlsen and Caruana. We already did the Arabic version. There is plenty of videos that you can watch either on Facebook, on social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and so on. And today we're gonna see the first game between the two guys, 2018 World Championship match, which ended in a draw. 12 games, to be honest. From the very beginning you can see that 12 games are drawn. And so we will try to understand the position, why decided to play such moves, and why black opted for such options, and so on. And so Caruana here played with white against Carlsen with black. You can see the difference between the ELO 2835, 2832. Only 3 points between, which means very narrow, very little. And so white decided to play e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop to b5. This is probably called the Rossolimo variation, I don't know. The only objective of this move is that I will take the knight on c6, I will aim for the d4 push at some point, and I will create some weaknesses. If he takes with the b pawn, this one remains weak. If he takes with the d pawn, he have doubled pawns. But the engine nowadays doesn't actually suggest any plan for white, any advantage for white. I mean, it's pure draw, 0.00. So g6, although with the stockfish 16 it's an imprecision, stockfish 12 called it the best move, because bishop g7 is much better on this diagonal than having a bishop here. So bishop takes, d3, controlling the center. I don't want to push d4 because c takes, queen takes, knight takes, nothing is achieved. Although I will go for d4 at some point, but not in the very beginning, because exchanging everything will just lead to a draw after 20 moves. And white doesn't want that, and black doesn't either. So bishop g7, h3, knight f6, h3 to block the pin, bishop g4, I'm blocking that move, so of course. So knight c3, knight d7, bishop e3, e5, controlling the center. At the same time, I can have my knight at some point in this square. Short castle, b6, developing the bishop on b7, knight h2. The only move, or the only idea behind knight h2 is to push f4 at some point, because my pawn structure is aiming at the king side. c2, d3, e4, aiming at the king side. So I have to push f4 at some point, and my knight is misplaced on f3. Maybe g4 at some point, maybe. So knight to f8, f4, e takes, rook takes, bishop to e6, rook to f2, going back to the f2 square. You may say to me, why he wasted the tempo, rook f4, rook f2. Well, there's a reason for that.